Is Lucasfilm preparing a deep fake Luke Skywalker push for the next half-decade or more? Well, that's what a trending viral post on social media says. And despite many saying, no, it's not real, well, folks, we've dug a little deeper and we've got more to say about Star Wars. All right, ladies and gentlemen, out of discussing fish. No, not discussing film, and no, not disgusting fish. Discussing fish. It says Lucasfilm Vice President, which is a giveaway that this is not exactly right. Dave Filoni is pushing for deepfake Luke Skywalker to feature in multiple future Star Wars projects. And for our Canadian viewers out there, projects. But you guys are weird, and you know it. The long-term goal is reportedly to give him his own spin-off series by 2030. Source, Reuters. Now, Lauren, there's something interesting about this post, and we'll explain it in just a second, but I want to go down to the comments. CC Karaoke says, now that the apprentice has ended his master's reign, he no longer needs to wear the mask of agreement. Ali Escaz says, no need for a deepfake and no need for a series. Just bring Sebastian in. Remake the sequel trilogy based on the you. That's what the audience wants. Joel says, problem is they destroyed Luke Skywalker at the end. Folks, I can keep going through them, but bottom line is everybody's taking this seriously. Tons of comments, people taking it seriously. What does that mean? Well, Lauren, this is a parody account. It's like the Babylon Bee. It's like the Onion. They just say silly, stupid things. The problem is somebody at Discussing Fish thought this was silly and stupid, and it turns out this is actually what everybody wants. Let me show you why I believe that's true. If we go to Movie Web, back in May of 2025, controversial AI Star Wars movie released for free by ILM. That's a division of Lucasfilm. This is real. Lucasfilm has been working with AI. Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm to go work on AI. They've admitted it. They've said it. They haven't released anything yet, but they're working on AI. So automatically now, the idea that they would make a deepfake Luke Skywalker story is not silly, or it's not out of the realm of possibility. Another thing. If you're asking, hey, what would they make it about? Well, if you go back to 2025, the end of the year, just a few weeks ago, Miguel Fernandez out of Star Wars News Net. This week in a galaxy far, far away, the fate of the old Republic, Disney XAI, Disney Ridley on the hunt for Ben Solo, much, much more. Nobody cares about this stuff. Nobody cares about the hunt for Ben Solo. Nobody's making stuff about the hunt for Ben Solo. So if you said, who would they make the AI on? It would be Luke Skywalker. And how do I know that? Because, Lauren, if I go to YouTube and I search for Star Wars AI, I get Anakin right after Revenge of the Sith, a.k.a. going into the sequel trilogy, into the original trilogy. Be kind, my mouth. Don't say that sort of stuff. You get the Empire invades Cloud City. You get Star Wars Luke Skywalker encounters Darth Bane. Star Wars The Empire hunts down Luke Skywalker. Star Wars Darth Vader learns that Luke is his son. Star Wars Darth Vader escapes the Death Star after New Hope. I mean, we can keep going and going and going. If you cycle through, and there are tons of AI Star Wars movies out there now on YouTube. If you go through this stuff, what you find out is people want Luke Skywalker, and they don't care about the AI anymore. They just want Luke Skywalker. So when Discussing Fish comes out and makes this kind of a post, the reason people are taking it seriously, they don't get it's a joke, is because people are serious. They want Luke Skywalker, and they want him however they can get him. They don't want Mark Hamill. They don't care about Sebastian Stan. Just give them Luke. Lauren, this is a fascinating thing. You and I were talking before the show began. We don't see this really in any other franchise. There is still a desire for fans to create Star Wars and fix it. Why is this lasting so much longer for Star Wars than any other franchise? You're muted, Lauren, much like Lucasfilm is about to be.
The latent interest is still there, and I think this is what ultimately Disney's calculation is. There's a lot of people out there that are black-pilled and saying it's done, it cannot be fixed, it will never be fixed, it's dead, let it go. I understand the sentiment. People are hurt. I feel, as I was saying after we started, it's a little bit like Ronan or Hawkeye when he's going through his emo phase, when he says, don't do that, don't give me hope. That's where the fan base is at. But the fact of the matter is, they want hope. They want to believe that it can be resurrected. They know that they, as the fans, know what they want and know what Star Wars needs, and if they have the tools to be able to produce it, they will produce it. So I think that Disney is looking at that and going, okay, it's not completely dead. There is a possibility of resurrecting it. They just have to do the right thing to do so. Now, the next question then is, can they? I'm not so sure. Are they going to try? Depends on what you mean by try. I think they're going to at least try to get the audience engaged again. Whether they'll do what ultimately they need to do to resurrect the franchise is still up in the air.
Lauren, any thoughts on the fact that Disney doesn't seem to be taking action against these AI films? It's kind of surprising to me. I mean, these things are getting hundreds of thousands of views. They're getting more views than Star Wars stuff on YouTube, like literal Lucasfilm things. Disney's allowing it. They're not sending cease and desist. They're not claiming them.
Well, it's back in the day under George, he was very open and supportive of these kind of things and sponsored fan film award shows at each of the celebrations. They cracked down on it a little bit after Disney took over, but I don't think it was ever quite as draconian as some other people have said. But it's also a way to do your research and to see what are people watching? What are they looking at? What do they want? And I think this also goes to the fact that we hear all these things about it's a bot campaign, it's that kind of thing. I don't think so. I think they're actually looking at the numbers and saying something is going on here. Can we distill what that is and make it work?
You see down here at the bottom, Star Wars Darth Vader learns that Luke is his son. Created by Star Wars Tales Untold. That's a fan thing. This is AI, totally went top to bottom. Lauren, look at the views. 837,000 views. That is approximately 7 to 8 times more than Star Trek Starfleet Academy, with all the hundreds of millions of dollars behind, whatever that is. This is incredible that fans are taking over.
This is another thing we got to be a little bit careful with when talking about, though, because you're correct. This is an AI-generated fan movie, the one that you're talking about there. It's also based on the Disney Star Wars canon because they're adapting a story from the Darth Vader comic books. So that's also another reason why they may not be taking action. And one of the things I thought the other day after we had Mark Mitchell on of a question that I should have asked him that I didn't think about at the time, because he was saying the younger crowd is saying that they like and they support the new Disney Star Wars, and everybody reacts, well, that's strange. And he's saying, well, this is what the numbers say. The follow-up question I would want to ask is, did you also ask whether they're purchasing movie tickets, whether they're purchasing collectibles, are they reading the novels, are they watching the cartoons, are they doing any of that, or do they just generically like the new Star Wars? Because I think that would tell a different story.
I agree with you 100%, and I wish we could have got into more granularity there. As we're watching this happen, as we said, this is going on with Star Wars more than just about any other franchise. I mean, if you look up Ghostbusters AI, it's just not happening. I mean, it's just not there. If you look up Star Trek AI, it's still just really not happening. It is a Star Wars phenomenon, and that means the level of disappointment people must have felt with the way Disney has handled this is just epic, because the desire, the hunger for this franchise is still existing after all of this. It's been 15 years of Kathleen Kennedy, and it didn't kill it.
Has there ever been an AI video fan film featuring Kylo Ren or Rey?
No,
or Poe,
maybe
or
with 12
any of
views.
Those guys? Has there been an Admiral Holdo series produced by anybody?
I can't. Lauren, the number of High Republic AI series is going to be huge.
I will pay a whole $2 if you can find some anywhere.
Okay, hang on. Let me look. Okay, while I look this up, Lauren, give me your thoughts on how this should go with like Lucasfilm. Okay, so Lucasfilm sees this happening with the fans. Should they just give in and do a Luke Skywalker series? I know you've not been in favor of that in the past. Maybe we just can't fight this. Maybe they got to go with it. Maybe they got to bring on Luke, deepfake AI, and let's go.
I think they need to be really, really careful about whatever move that they make next. My belief is that for the last year and a half, roughly, they basically clamped down and said, we're not producing any more sequel content. The things that you had planned are basically going on the back burner or canceled. We're preparing to make this shift that they're now in the process of making. Now they've got to be getting together and saying, what are we going to do narratively? And I think right now that's probably still an open question. If there is any serious thought about do we paper over what we did with the sequel trilogy? Do we just ignore it? Do we get rid of it? What do we do with it? Then yes, you need to do something with Luke, but you got to be really, really careful with it because the audience knows what it wants. And frankly, and though I hate to say this, I don't think Lucasfilm can give the audience what it wants, not directly. So the next best thing is you cannot have the Jedi Order fail after Return of the Jedi. So yes, you have to have Luke start his Jedi Academy, but it cannot be brought down by Ben Solo and destroyed and all of that. You have to have a new generation of Jedi Knights that go out and begin rebuilding the Order. And from that, you can create a stable of new characters to tell stories with. But Luke does have to be involved with that. Now, whether that is a TV series, whether that's a movie or a series of movies, I don't know. But be really, really careful when you start doing this because you're going to have to do it in a way that the fan base sees as respectful. I don't think they can give us exactly what we want because ultimately what most people want is the old EU novels. Novels and movies are a different animal. There's only so much time that you can work with in a movie, and that's why a lot of the things that they were talking about were long-form TV series because that gives them more room to play. But they can't make money at it. So I expect those strategy sessions are going to be long, and there's going to be a lot of debate, and they're going to have to be very careful. Personally, I'd be getting an awful lot of marketing people in the room. I'd go to the toy people and say, how do we get this back into the zeitgeist for kids who want to buy merchandise and for collectors who want to buy high-end stuff? Those are the guys that convince the rest of the audience to buy into something.
Lauren, you asked for evidence that people are making sequel trilogy AI or any Disney Star Wars AI, right?
I think there's probably some, but I wouldn't bet that it's got any kind of a following or that it's positive.
Depends on how you define it. Lauren, are you ready to laugh your took us off?
Oh, sure. I don't need a took us.
Lauren, well, most men don't. Lauren, raise your glass in the air, please, okay? All right, take a sip. Take a sip. Just go ahead. A sip, Lauren. My gosh, man. Jeez Louise. All right. He owns the show.
I was in the mood for a quaff.
Lauren, this one's for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I looked up Star Wars Rey AI. Okay, no tricks, folks. With almost 1 million views. All the Jedi roast Rey. With 1.1 million views. No, you're not a Skywalker.
Well,
folks, we're doing this off the bat. I mean, this is great. Rey, my so-called Tatooine life. This is what they came up with.
And honestly, that's an honest search. That's relatively generic terms. What better market research could you do to determine whether or not your strategy has succeeded or failed?
All right, I'm ready to play this, okay? At our own risk. I'm going to play it. If there's any audio that's borrowed from Star Wars, we'll have to cut it. But here's this one that has, I guess, 1 million views. All the Jedi roast Rey.
I'm all the Jedi.
No, you're absolutely not.
On screen, waste of pixels, you are.
You were the chosen one. You were supposed to be well written, not suck.
Jar Jar had better character development than you.
Yes.
All right, we can Oh, this is what people want for the AI sequel trilogy, Lauren. That's what they want.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. But I think this is the one thing that's actually giving the franchise a spark of possibility still, is that if people were not doing this, if people were not producing all of this AI content, my guess is Disney would have just washed their hands of it and said, you know what, it's a dead franchise, we can't make anything of it, let it go. But they're seeing people do this. And that tells them, even though people are saying they're heartbroken, even though they're saying they want to let it go, even though they're saying don't touch it, don't do anything with it, especially Disney, don't do anything with it, they want something. There is a demand. And when there's a demand, if you want to make profit, you provide the supply. Now they got to figure out, okay, you don't want what we did. What do you want? And we've told them that. like I said, I don't think they can give us exactly what we want, but they can give us something that is maybe not far off, but it has to have a totally different tone than what the sequel trilogy did.
So, folks, why does this work for great clickbait engagement? 368,000 views, but not work as parody? Well, because it's too darn close to what people actually want.
I just feel it's important to take a moment to reflect on the current slate of Star Wars movie. I mean, we haven't had a woman take the lead on any Star Wars projects whatsoever in Star Wars yet. And that's partly because other women who are leading Star Wars, they don't want to let that happen, which totally isn't stereotypical of women. Am I right, ladies? But here we are, with director Charmin Abinadab Chinook or something. Anyway, she's a woman who's bringing a lot of weight to Star Wars because of her, pedigree. I mean, look at her. Her credits from Satara, Let Girls Dream, Three Bahadur, The Revenge of Baba Balam, Ladies First, A Journey of 1,000 Miles. They all have ties to Star Wars, and some of you guys are so ignorant you have had no idea that there's something thematic through all those things in Star Wars. And yes, it's time for a woman to lead Star Wars. I mean, things that has totally worked in every other sphere of life, especially politics. Come on, Hillary Clinton, you tell them that it's time for a woman to smash that patriarchy. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I think it's important for you to know that. Thank you.